Welcome everyone in Dr. Sanchez's class of Human Resource Management here at Amberton University. My name is Ashley Hensley, and today I will be presenting a training video on the effectiveness of revamping traditional performance review processes in order for the largest generational cohort, the Millennials, to be successful in the workplace as we move forward. The topics that will be discussed today include introduction. The researcher will explain and show in detail the importance of revamping the traditional performance review process for the 21st century in order for companies to attract and retain the millennial generation, offering ideas and suggestions that might work for the future. Applications, a traditional performance review overview, generational cohort millennials overview, limitations, threats to validity of the study, tools and methodologies used, literature review, results, and then a discussion of the implications to the 21st century. The traditional performance review overview. Feedback is the greatest source of learning. It tells us how to improve ourselves through behavior, performance, skills, handoffs, and the processes by which we work. Feedback is not criticism. People want feedback, not criticism. Criticism may damage trust within an organization. Most individuals think feedback is excruciating and fear the process because they hate being judged. As a result, many employees will not take risks or offer suggestions. This can lower productivity in any environment. The traditional performance review originated from labor union contracts, which required annual reviews for merit increases. It typically involved a type of scale or a qualitative measure. For example, meets expectations or exceeds expectations. Or it could have been used on a scale of 1 to 5. 80% of employees see themselves as a top 25 performer within their workplace. This has been a universal and despised feature of the corporate world for decades. Also known as the rank and yank system, used as a method to judge employees and rank them against their peers. The bottom percentage were then terminated. A system based on paperwork and bureaucracy instead of making change. It's the way most workers are used to, a large part of their workload and comfortable for most. It was used to justify pay, promotion, and termination for years, and still is. SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management, surveyed 10 companies on the effectiveness of traditional performance reviews, and 3 out of 10 believed they actually worked. Perhaps the best feedback managers can give are real examples, both good and bad. However, the lapse in time from the event occurring to the annual review, the feedback becomes broader and less detailed. Traditional ratings may also become less comprehensive due to the volume of performance reviews most managers may have to complete. Most people have had a hard enough time keeping track of what has happened over the past few weeks, let alone what has occurred every single day for the last year. Asking managers to rank employees based on generic competencies and skills doesn't give an accurate representation of the employee's value, and as a result, many companies are revamping their performance review processes. The Millennials, and who are they? Generally, they were born between the years of 1981 and 2001. Their core values include they are optimistic, civic duty is important to them, they are confident, they desire achievement, they're sociable, very diverse, altruistic, and hardworking. On the job, they believe in collective action, they're optimistic, in tenacity, they have a heroic spirit, they have many multitasking capabilities, very technologically savvy, adept to change, and desire flexibility. Some say their liabilities may include their need for supervision and structure, their demand for constant feedback. They were raised by helicopter parents, family events trump work, and they're skeptical of long-term commitment. They were optimistic. They were brought up believing they are desired and indispensable. They think school is cool. They see themselves as leader of change and believe in a better future. Civic duty. They were the first group of students to believe that civic duty was important to have in order to graduate or get into college. They are genuinely concerned with their surroundings on a local and global level and are involved in united acts to improve government and politics. They are confident. They don't believe in failure and they are terrified by it. They have been told they were special their whole lives and therefore can be perceived as arrogant. They are truly self-advocates. Diverse, they see the globe as one. This cohort is more culturally diverse than any other cohort yet. When they're on the job, as a collective action, they solve problems in groups by gathering their peers on social media. They construct websites for fundraising and causes. Their tenacity. This group has been the busiest generation thus far. Perhaps this was due to their helicopter parents. Their technology savviness. Millennials are the first generation to be submerged in technology starting from their early childhood to now. They are continuously linked to everyone around them, including family, friends, and coworkers. Mark Prinsky calls them digital natives. They read manuals and share with their colleagues. They don't just surf the web, they inhabit it. Their need for supervision and structure. Millennials experience the largest mass layoff in 80 years and have been scarred because of it. This perhaps may be the reason they are job hoppers and have struggled to find stability in their careers. Their helicopter parents. They were raised by tender parenting styles and see their parents as heroes. So why the millennials? Millennials portray individualism rather than collectivism and generally are happier with their employers and feel secure in their jobs as opposed to generations before them. They are satisfied with the recognition and career advancement they receive. Millennials work well in groups and teams. They are inspired by specific assignments, desire open and regular communication, and are experts at communication by means of technology. Life outside of work or work-life balance is of utmost importance to millennials. Millennials concentrate on the social part of work and desire friendly colleagues and a stimulating work atmosphere. Their altruistic conduct is predisposed by their family and friends. Millennials have higher self-assurance, confidence, external locus of control, and are generally more assertive than their counterparts. They are always gathering information and are more than willing to share it with their peers. Millennials express their point of view, ideas, and feelings. They are not intimidated by older generations regardless of status in the workplace. Millennials reveal exemplary followers in the workplace. They discard in-house rivalry in politics and tend to snub traditional rites of passage in regard to decision making. The generations numbers in the workforce. If you'll see the pie chart, you will notice that the new generation will make up 14% of the workforce. Traditionalists, 13% of the workforce. Baby boomers, 26% of the workforce. Gen Xers, 20%. And millennials, 27% of the workforce, making them the largest generational cohort in the workforce today. In the next 7 years, millennials will make up 75% of the workforce. Limitations and threats to validity for the study. The criterion contamination includes stereotyping and grouping individuals based on the years in which they are born contaminates validity and is merely generalizations made about a majority. Differentiation in sample sizes used. Criterion reliability. Performance appraisals are flawed and therefore yield faulty results. Results are subjective in nature. Criterion deficiency. Because millennials are still young and inexperienced in the workplace, they still have skills to master. Performance review processes from one company to the next is different. Tools and methodologies used throughout the research. Scholarly research, qualitative and quantitative research, including questionnaire, surveys, and observations. The first study used was the relationship between age and job performance evaluations for entry-level professionals by Alan M. Sachs and David A. Waldman. The objective was to study the correlation between age and job performance evaluations for newly hired employees into entry-level positions in a public accounting firms. The design used measured for undergraduate grade average and prior work experience and operationalized the number of previous jobs held. Questionnaires were used through an internal company mail system. They were sent out to each employee in an envelope and asked that they complete the survey and return it. The method, a field study, was used to collect data from new hires in entry-level accounting firm positions and their managers. Age and prior work experience was collected from the participants themselves as they entered the job. Data from managers was collected 10 months after the participants' date of hire. Results. Results support for a negative relationship between age and evaluations of technical and overall job performance. The number of previous jobs explained a significant amount of the variance in technical and overall job performance evaluations, and the relationship between age and job performance dissipated after controlling for grade average and the number of previous jobs. The second study used was Fearless Feedback Boost Trust while replacing traditional performance appraisals at Independent Living, Inc. by Wally Hawk. The objective of the study was to improve the organization's performance management system, to build trust and develop future leaders at every level. The design used a fearless feedback approach. The idea behind the fearless feedback approach is that it improves trust, which equals better performance. It speeds up the learning process, creates change agents, which in return lowers loss of productivity, promotes accountability within the organization, engages employees, and creates a knowledge-based atmosphere. The method of the fearless feedback approach that engaged staff and promoted innovation was used over a 4-year period. A set of expectations and tools used to observe and develop quality and speed of interpersonal and system interactions. The feedback is instantaneous, direct, and non-threatening, replacing traditional performance reviews. Results. The results after 4 years show dramatic improvements in the value of workplace conversations, the level of trust, individual and team performance, leadership skills, and the ability of employees and managers to develop work-related skills, accomplish goals, job satisfaction, communicate more effectively with each other, and learn. After 3.5 years under this initiative, a survey was conducted to assess the effectiveness of the new approach. As you will see in the exhibit shown, Exhibit 6, Fearless Feedback is better than typical performance appraisals. 60% strongly agree. Exhibit 4, Fearless Feedback improves individual performance and team performance. 63% strongly agree. Exhibit 3, Fearless Feedback improves my ability to accomplish goals and ability to learn. 43 to 57% agree, and 53 and 43% strongly agree. So the design and method. Fearless feedback, therefore, helps create a high trust environment in which everyone is empowered to manage his or her own agreements. Instead of having a manager grade the employee, the two partnered together to achieve SMART goals with higher quality agreements. Like traditional performance reviews, fearless feedback calls for one-on-one meetings between managers and those they supervise, with at least one formal meeting per year. At this meeting, the manager generates a set of agreements and the employee completes a self-assessment, which is then discussed. The rating system of the employee is completely eliminated. By switching to fearless feedback, a performance management process consistent with systems thinking, the management team was able to effectively mitigate the problems they experienced with the performance appraisal that was previously used. After nearly 5 years, the company remained committed to fearless feedback, and its leaders considered the decision to switch from a traditional performance appraisal system as having been instrumental in improving employee engagement and trust. It has helped workers at every level enhance not only the services that are essential to meeting their clients' needs, but also their own skills and job satisfaction in the process. The third study used was the effect of performance appraisal system in organizational commitment, job satisfaction, and productivity. The objective was to summarize the conceptual framework of performance appraisal system and its relationship between job satisfaction, organizational commitment, organization citizenship behavior, employee engagement, combined with productivity. The design used was observations and open-ended questionnaires, as well as an analysis of weekly productivity measures that were used in conjunction with the performance appraisal system. The method used was the performance appraisal system, objective production, personnel, and judgmental evaluation. Results. Employees who are appraised properly according to their performance using the performance appraisal system get motivated automatically. Performance appraisal systems help employees and organizations increase productivity. Employees will have organizational commitment and citizenship behavior automatically. When employees find that they are satisfied with their jobs, they will engage themselves toward their work until they see an increase in productivity. Nonetheless, performance appraisal systems are necessary. The question is, what type of performance appraisal system should be used? And most importantly, used for millennials, the largest generational cohort to enter the workforce. Effective performance appraisal systems and organizational commitment, job satisfaction, and productivity continued. You'll see Figure 1 and Figure 2, Model 1 against Model 2. Performance appraisal systems help employees to motivate themselves in two ways, either financially or non-financially. Financially, by providing extra incentives, it helps the employees to motivate themselves and makes them to have more commitment to the company. Non-financially, by allowing extra roles and responsibilities to that employee. It helps the employee to have great citizenship behavior, which helps them to work more and to increase their productivity. Performance appraisal system also motivates the employees to involve themselves toward the work and makes them to have job satisfaction. Job satisfaction in return, once the employees are pleased with their job, they will pledge themselves habitually to their job, in return making the employees to feel that they are the citizens of the company. And thereafter, once the employees feel that they are citizens of the company, they will act accordingly, and all these elements will help them to increase their output. Literature review. Performance reviews don't work for millennials. And what might work? Performance reviews are ultimately a gamble rather than an objective observation process. They aren't relevant to the working world today. They don't motivate. No one is average. The timing doesn't match up. Focuses on the past. Most annual evaluations are for the previous year of work and not the current performance. And it focuses on process instead of outcomes. Millennials want constant and immediate feedback to ensure that they are valued by the company. They would prefer quarterly lunches with their boss that is less formal and rather than an annual performance review. Millennials grew up thinking they were great at everything. Receiving a poor performance review in the workplace may be perceived as failure to them. Management should review and discuss performance on an ongoing and regular basis. Millennials like the big picture and want to see an action plan with expectations, areas they are progressing in, and what they are doing well. Performance reviews should reflect all of these aspects. Millennials are known to set unrealistic goals. Because of this, it might be wise to spread their goals out over a longer period of time, perhaps 2 years, in order for them to achieve good work-life balance. As a result, performance appraisals should get away from annual renewals. Millennials don't want to disappoint. Allowing them to move internally, even if it's lateral, in order to let them find the right fit. Performance reviews should encourage millennials to move within the company to find that right fit. What do millennials want? They want more frequent conversations with management discussing specifics of their job. Try giving small doses of feedback, but often. If you deliver feedback once a year, it becomes a big deal. The more often managers meet with their millennials on their performance, the easier it will be. Millennials prefer to meet in private and face-to-face. They want you to get right to it. Talk as soon as possible after the performance. Don't wait months and months and then bring up what they were doing wrong or what they could correct. If you're frustrated or angry, wait until you can speak calmly with them. They love respect and they do like to focus on improvement. Be specific and concrete. Talk about the behavior. Give them examples of what you saw and how they can improve it. Reassure that you have trust in them and that you believe in them as an employee. Define steps for improvement and decide on specific actions to start and stop. Watch for good performance and praise it often. Move on, get over it, and focus on results. Results. Most people are unqualified to comprehend, let alone tamper with the complications of employee performance. Millennials, baby boomers, and Gen X still prefer some type of performance review. However, 37% say the process is outdated. 38% of millennials desire an annual performance review. However, they don't mind quarterly reviews alike. Annual reviews don't allow managers to fairly assess the quality of an employee's work. 60% of companies are revamping their performance reviews, and 10% have completely dumped old methods as a result of the shifting workforce, the millennials. The Gap, for example, uses a real-time feedback method that focuses on growth, performance, and success, also known as the GPS system. New methods show managers how valuable employees really are and helps employees to be protected from unskilled managers. New methods such as peer-to-peer reviews get feedback from multiple raters, allowing for a more rounded view of an employee, showing value and contribution to the company. It's almost like a Facebook-like, says Google. Discussion and implications to the 21st century. Most companies today promote teamwork and group projects. How can an employee be evaluated on an individual basis if majority of their work is done in a group? Performance appraisals are at the hands of their managers. Bias exists beyond the employee's control. Performance appraisals are breeding grounds for discrimination. Many large companies today have already revised their performance review process. Examples: GE, Gap, and Google. Because organizations across the globe are growing at a faster rate than ever, It is crucial that organizations revamp their performance review process, particularly for millennials, the largest generation entering the workforce. The workforce today is in dire need of change. Millennials offer a skill set that is not only timely, but much needed for the future. Companies could consider using a market-driven approach or a variable pay plan linked to organizational achievements and individual contribution for merit increases rather than performance appraisals moving forward. High potential young employees want regular feedback and career progression advice, not just a once and done review, says David Parent, Nathan Sloan, and Akio Tsukita of Deloitte. The world isn't really on an annual cycle anymore for anything. I think some of it, to be really honest, is millennial based. It's the way millennials are used to working and getting feedback, which is more frequent, faster, mobile enabled, so there were multiple drivers that said it's time to make a change, said Peters of GE. Companies that are getting rid of the traditional performance review now offer classes via mobile devices such as mindfulness. These programs have apps for smartphones so that employees can access their smartphone. Each employee has a series of near-term goals and priorities to meet. Managers are also required to have regular discussions called touch points. This method focuses on constant improvement. Employees can also request feedback through a button termed Insights. Terminology is everything to this generation, which is why companies are using these apps with these buttons called touch points or insights. All in all, this is not going to be an easy process and should be handled with care. Performance reviews have stayed in the workplace for a very long time for a very good reason, and they have become an integral part of operations. Companies should tread lightly in order to maintain fundamentals of their culture. We're excited. All in all, the researcher found that yes, millennials are not responding to the traditional performance review. However, the researcher also found that not only is it the millennials, but traditionalists, baby boomers, and Gen Xers also are not responding to traditional performance reviews. The traditional performance review has its flaws, but it does have its good things about it too. So maybe as companies, we can take some of the old and combine it with the new to get a better overall product that helps us as organizations sustain, retain, and recruit. Thank you and have a good day. Bye-bye.